Hello everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the GenX Podcast series. And today we have Mr. Aniket Somwanshi, and he'll be giving some tips on how to start freelancing as a beginner. Hey guys, my name is Tanmay, and you're watching Tech Masti. First of all, I would like to welcome Aniket. Aniket, thank you for being here today, and just give a brief introduction about yourself and about your freelancing career.
Yeah. Hi, Tanmay, and hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. My name is Aniket Somwanshi. I live in Navi Mumbai, and currently I'm studying computer science. I've been freelancing for about 3 years now, and I'm hoping that my insights will be really valuable for you guys to start your own journey. Apart from that, I will also be sharing my mistakes that I have did and make you take informed decisions in your path as well. So I'm really excited to share my thoughts and let's get started.
Yeah. Let's get started with the first question. What is the right time to start freelancing?
Yeah, that is the first and foremost question that everyone needs to ask themselves. So there are two perspectives here. One that either you are a student or other that you have already passed out and you are currently doing a job or looking for a job. So let me talk first in the student's perspective that should you even join freelancing or do it at all. So let me tell you first of all, freelancing is not really all about the financial aspects. Yes, you will be helped a lot in the financial aspect from freelancing, but that's not all. You will get to work on commercial projects in hands-on experience in them. And whenever you get a particular certificate from a company on a commercial level, that will add a lot of credibility and strength to your resume when you pass out as well. So always keep in mind that aspect of freelancing, that it's not just about the money, it's about the experience that you gain and the credibility that it adds to your profile. And for the work professionals, doing freelancing on the part time has nothing wrong with it, and all the benefits you will enjoy a lot. If you follow certain rules of freelancing, then doing it on the part time will help you a lot financially. So yeah, that was some things that you need to consider before starting a career in freelancing, and I hope that will be useful for you guys.
Yeah, definitely it will be useful. And the next question is that what are the services which are of great demand, and basically what are the prerequisites one should know before getting into freelancing?
Yeah. So if I may assume that you are already from a computer's background, then you already have a lot of prerequisites already inside of you. You do not need to learn much more in that regard. But if you are not already from a CS background, then I must tell you about the competition and the market of certain technologies there. So in the freelancing space, graphic design is a lot more saturated than others. There are a lot of people from around the world who do freelancing in graphic designs, and they are very much experts in that field as well. So my suggestion to you would be, if you can have some more skills regarding the video editing part and animations part, then that will help you cut down the competition in that regard. Talking about the development sector, it is in highly demand for startups as well. And one thing that I'd like to point out is, in that regard, web development is comparatively a lot more saturated, but app development is a really good way to start. There are a lot of startups that are looking for mobile apps that you can hop into, and having that as a prerequisite will be really helpful in the long run. Apart from that, there are some niche technologies like 3D modeling or MATLAB that are really rare amongst the freelancers. So if you are able to do, you are skilled in one of these niche technologies, then that will be really helpful for you to get some high paying projects as well. So that was a little overview about the market and how the competition goes in the freelancing market. And at the end of the day, the decision is yours, but keep in mind the competition and other factors while choosing the prerequisites.
Okay, so basically one should analyze himself before getting into the field of freelancing, like what technology or what content he is good at.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So the next question is that which is the best platform or which platform to choose as a beginner in freelancing?
Yeah, I actually get this question a lot. So there are basically three main platforms, three most popular platforms that you will find online. First one is the freelancer.com, second one is upwork.com, and another one is Fiverr. So let me tell you that Fiverr and Upwork are somewhat similar to each other, whereas freelancer.com is has some of its own unique features. So, in the perspective of a freelancer starting out, I would highly suggest that if you are a freelancer who has not done any projects beforehand and do not have any offline clients as well, then I would suggest you to go with freelancer.com solely because of the concept of contests over there, which is missing in the platforms Upwork and Fiverr. So let me tell you a little bit more about contests. So what contests mean is that whenever an employer wants to get some project done, he will post a contest for a certain duration. And in that duration, the interested freelancers can actually do the work, let's say developing a website or designing a logo or editing an animation or something of that sort. And at the end of that duration of contest, the employer will select from all these submissions the winning submissions that he will like to go forward with. And so whenever whichever is the winner of that contest will get that project. So if you do not have any background previously, then this will help you a lot because only your work matters here, and the employer will not look back at your profile that what all the projects you have done in the past. And the reverse is the case for Upwork and Fiverr. Here, your profile does really matter a lot. The past reviews on your profile really matters a lot when the employer visits your profile and services. So basically, in Upwork and Fiverr, what you need to do is post your skills as a service. So let's say you are a graphic designer, then you will post your work as a service that, hey, I can do this logo designing part in this much amount of days and this much amount of money. And whenever employers search for a work related to your sector, then he will look your profile up and decide whether or not to go with you or go with someone else. So that is something that you need to consider while choosing a platform. And one reminder for you guys is whenever you select any of the platforms, stick with that platform only and do not switch between all three of these platforms, because once you get into one single platform, your profile will be built up and that will be gradually beneficial to you in the long run.
Okay, so as a beginner, you are suggesting that one should go with freelancing.com.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, great. And the next question is that after setting up your profile on freelancing, so or any other platform, how can one get his first client?
Yeah, this is actually one of the most crucial stages in your journey, which is the first step, the first project. So imagine an employer who is looking for some freelancer and he stumbles upon your profile, which does not have any previous reviews or any previous projects that has worked on. So obviously he will feel that there is not much that I can rely upon this particular freelancer. So it's natural that it is really hard for someone who does not have any reviews or past work in his profile to get the first project. So what you can do in this regard is, as I said earlier, on freelancer.com, you can look for a lot of contests out there so that you can grab your first project there. And if you have not chosen freelancer.com as your platform, in Upwork or Fiverr, what you can do is transfer your offline clients to that platform as well. What I mean by that is, let's say you are developing something for your friend's startup or any other startup or even your school. So whatever work you're doing, request the client to transfer that particular project to the platform so that you can get the review from that particular client. One more thing that you can do is post your services in some of the niche or specific categories. So let's say there are some categories like 3D modeling and MATLAB, etc., that I mentioned earlier. If you provide services in that sector, there is not much of the competition there, and employers can find you really easily, even though you do not have much of the reviews. So those are some of the things that will help you get your first project. And trust me, once you get your first project, it is a really great journey ahead, because you will get projects a much faster rate, and even you will feel like it's a magic, and how am I getting these many projects. And one of the things is that the employer that has employed you for the first time, he will refer you to different employers or projects as well. So hang in there, be patient, and you will definitely get your first project.
Okay, so that will surely help some of them to get their first project. And the next question is that after getting your first project, how should you manage your relationship with the client, the work relationship with the client?
Yeah. What I personally think is this is really underrated topic, and a lot of people do not focus on this relationship part. And I did the same mistake as well in the early days, but then I realized the importance. So let me give you an example. Whenever you are working with a client, that client can be from any part of the world. You might not speak very well English. There might be time zone differences. So what you need to do is, if your time zone does not match with his, you need to make sure that you agree on some time that you want to meet or communicate, because it should not happen that whenever the employer wants to reach out to you for something and you are not available for that time. So making sure of the time zones really helps a lot. Apart from that, I would like you to be very specific on the requirements and how you interpret those requirements, and make it clear first and foremost after proceeding any further. Be very clear that if the project will be feasible by you, if you can do that project, then only accept that project. And apart from that, whatever the requirements are there, you need to mention the cost per requirements right there up front. So these are some small things that you need to do, and surely this will benefit you a lot, with things like the employer referring you to some more projects or some of his own further work as well. If there is a factor of trust between you guys, so I think that will help you guys a lot.
Okay. So the next question is based upon same thing like after starting your project, how should you manage your work requirements?
Yeah, I think work requirements are really important before you start. So I will tell you an example of my case. So what I used to do is prepare a document of all the requirements that I've mentioned by the employer, and list down everything and mention the cost per requirements on the side. What this does is makes it very transparent for the employer as well, to get an overall sense of what will be the overall cost of the project and which requirements cost how much. So once he has agreed on that particular cost, then you can go forward with further of your processes. One more thing that you need to remember is there are some hidden costs that you need to tell the employer, because he's not aware most of the times. An example would be, whenever you are developing a website, there are some charges of the domain name and the web hosting, and these are not something that you include in your development charges. So although you will be asking for a particular amount for that particular project, this will not be including these two things, that are the domain name and the web hosting. And what happens is there is a lot of misconception and misunderstanding that happens if these things are not made clear. because the web hosting and the domain name are charged per yearly basis. So whenever you are working for someone as a freelancer, if you are working with him for 1 year, uh, still the maintenance of the website might go on for 10 years as well, and he needs to pay that on his own. So just make sure that you are very clear on the hidden cost or maintenance cost, and make it separate from your development cost as well. So these are the small things that you need to consider, and there is not a lot into it, but just make sure that you make the maintenance charges and development charges separately.
Okay. So basically, there should be a proper documentation, like SRS should be made, and everything should be transparent between you and the client.
Yes, and SRS will be helpful a lot.
Yes. So the next question is that after completing your project, how should you manage your payment?
Yeah. So payment is a really catchy topic because many people, many employers do not trust these online transactions per se, and it is evident and very sensible that there are a lot of scams that happen online in this sector as well. And what I need you guys to focus on is only the project part whenever you are working on the platform, because the payment part will mostly be managed by the platform itself. And whenever you are working offline, I would suggest you guys to switch to the platform whenever you are going for the payments part. And I will tell you the reason why why is it secure on the platform. So how it works is, whenever you have agreed with the employer for some amount of money for a particular project, the employer will deposit the money to the platform. That will not be directed to you directly. So that will be held by the platform as a third party. So both you and the employer can trust that third party to hold that amount for the duration of project. And once the project is done, you can request the employer to release that amount. So the third party platform, for example Upwork or Fiverr, they will release that amount, and then you will actually get that amount. So there is a factor of trust whenever we are trusting a particular authority or a third party. So I will always insist you guys, whenever you are doing any offline freelancing work as well, make sure that you do the payments on these platforms to make it very secure for both the sides.
Okay, so it is more better that you get your payments done online than in offline manner. That will be more
Yes,
secure also.
yes.
Yeah. So the next question is that after you have completed your project, after you have received your payment, how should you request the client for a letter of recommendation or a letter of internship?
Yeah. So as I mentioned in the intro as well, that freelancing for a student is not just about the monetary part or the financial benefits. It's a lot more about working on commercial projects as well. And whenever you will pass out or look for a job or another further studies as well, what will be credible in your profile will be the proofs of the works that you have done commercially. So even though you will do have the projects that you have worked on, there has to be a credibility or a certificate that states that you have worked for this particular duration in an actual real world scenario. So you must ask the client to kindly give the certificate of internship or a letter of recommendation, so that your profile will be strengthened up. And I can promise you guys that this will be more helpful than the financial benefits of freelancing, because I have considered in my case as well. I have been helped a lot by these projects, and if I would have not asked for a letter of recommendation or letter of internship, then these projects would not have been much of a weightage in my profile. So as they have helped me a lot, I'm sure they will help you a lot as well, if especially if you have a certification in them, so that you can showcase that in your profile and further strengthen your profile.
Okay, so this letter of recommendation and internship certificate will help you build your profile more stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
So one final question: what is outsourcing, and what is the right time to start outsourcing?
What is outsourcing? I will tell you in a brief. Whenever you accept a project, but you do not have the time to invest and develop the project on your own, you give it to someone else that will develop it for you, and you will be transferring the payments from that particular employer to someone that actually develops the project. And I will tell you why this is very crucial in the later stages of freelancing. So let's say you have been doing freelancing for, let's say, 3 years, and now that your profile is really built up and really strong, you will get a lot of projects that you need to work on simultaneously. And from personal experience, I can tell you that it gets really hectic to work on all these projects all by yourself. So what a sensible thing to do is outsource that project to someone you know who can develop these projects. And what one of the more crucial reasons for doing this is you can invest your time in doing something else while automating your freelance workflow as well. So your freelance profile will still be liquid, it will still be flowing, and you are still getting projects, your reviews are still increasing. But at the same time, you can also invest your time in doing something other than, let's say, you can invest your time in doing some of your own research or your studies, or your you can capitalize on your own job as well. So these things are really crucial on the later stages, and I have personally done these things a lot. That's why I can tell you that they are beneficial whenever you are a little bit mature in the field of freelancing, and that will be really a smart choice to go for outsourcing after, let's say, 3 or 4 years of this journey.
Okay, so that were some of the amazing answers, and I'm sure that will help all the people who are just starting with freelancing or who are planning to start with freelancing. And once again, I would like to thank you, Aniket, for being here and giving your precious time.
It was my pleasure, Tanmay. I was really glad to be here on the channel and share my insights and mistakes that I did in my journey. And I hopefully all these will be helpful for you guys in your journey as well. And I would say all the best for you guys. And if you follow these rules and some of the do's and don'ts, you will be really good to go, and it will be really amazing journey for you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely that will help your mistakes. I'm sure they will not follow the same mistake as you did, and you'll surely grow up in the field of freelancing. So that's it for this episode, guys. And if you like this episode, do hit that like button and share this video to all of the friends or the people who are planning to start freelancing. And I'm sure this video and this episode will help them in getting better into freelancing. So, and the last thing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and upcoming podcast episode. So, for this episode, that's it, and I'll be meeting you in the next video. So, bye.